Ew. Remember the scene in the original Matrix movie where they find Neo in a pot of goo and they unplug him? I'd be lying if I didn't already hear rumblings and see variations of this, but there is a new disturbing video making the rounds, growing a fetus of a baby in an artificial womb. In a future release book written about 15 years ago, I wrote about something similar. Although the ramifications weren't and aren't discussed in the book, they did cross my mind when I wrote it. I couldn't help but think of those things after this disturbing clip. Ectolife, artificial wombs, as seen on YouTube. The lines are blurring between science fiction, cultural progression, movie-esque bullshit. No wonder there are deranged people out there who think they are cats or bunny selves. A streaming team I watched covered the new idea that's been brought forth and hoping for investors. It was cool to see something in my head on the screen as I came back into the room, but then I was informed that it was real life. Sort of. The man who put the videos on YouTube is apparently a filmmaker and someone who studied in the realm of this kind of stuff, and he wanted to combine both projects. The 8 or 9 minute feature is narrated by the stereotypical, almost semi-robotic, calm female voice, telling the viewer that this is an upcoming breakthrough. I yelled futile but logical questions at the screen while the host slowly came to their own ideas about the potential ramifications and while the accompanying chat was going crazy. One of the features of this product was to be able to edit genes and stamp out unwanted genes or problematic features in a child's future. So your baby is in the pod and you find out it might end up expressing something you don't like or can't deal with financially, or you don't want to spread into the population. I guess you just unplug. There are similar practices that are accepted already when an older mother tests to determine the likelihood her fetus will have Down syndrome. They're given the option to terminate if they feel they can't provide for a child with special needs. So how far would you go? If you could make the child in the pod more intelligent, would you choose to tweak that gene? What if we all did that? Maybe I want it to be an athletically gifted child, or to have a giant dick, or become a musical genius. But we can't all be smart. That's why you're here. Your ancestors all survived danger, famine, and years of living in tough times, and even got laid. We're here because our bloodlines reproduced, and they were lucky. The weaker or less fortunate ones died out. This is natural selection, and the way it's supposed to go, mostly. People who had bright futures are murdered all the time, and accidents happen. Certain dynasties or bloodlines have ceased to exist due to moving, plagues, idiocy in all its forms. Just a thought to explain the general idea. The latest COVID information trickling out. What if this was another kind of mass extinction in the way of, those dumb enough to take the Fauci sauce and thinking it would save them, but they ended up with heart problems and died? What if that was natural selection, stamping out people who can't critically think? No offense if you got the poke. It's just a thought. It's kind of a joke. That rhymed. Hashtag sorry, not sorry though. One of their selling points was that it would help those who had suffered a miscarriage, or someone with fertility problems, or maybe gay couples. How much do you think something like this would cost? Is it going to be available for all social and socio-economic tiers, or only for the upper echelons and Hollywood? And on that note, who are the people breeding humans this way? Are there going to be systems in place to prevent pedos or someone with evil intent from growing a group of lambs to slaughter in the privacy of their own home? There will probably be some sort of racket where someone who's permitted to have this technology at home sells them on the black market for spare parts or the sex trade. Hey, maybe that company who uses fetal tissue in flavor research might save money this way. I provided the Reuters fact-check article that tries desperately to debunk it. The thing is, some of us were old enough to remember when it was an actual story and it had interviews with those in the know and people talking about the patents and stuff on it. And I think it was around 2016 because I remember being outraged, lefty style, like outraged. And I'd post about it a lot. So anyway, so I kept digging, and I know, Wikipedia, whatever, but Wikipedia has some sort of history on it, so this was taken from there. Around 2001, Cinemex patented several flavor enhancers by using proprietary taste receptor based assay systems, which have been previously expressed in human cell culture. And I'm not going to read the rest of that because for some reason I butchered it and I have to go out soon. So anyway, that's on the blog post if you care to look. Denying the child bonding with the mother by way of being in her uterus, there are psychological issues which will arise from lack of contact with the parent. That's why there's time for skin-to-skin contact with both parents of a newborn in the hospital. There are things money can't buy. Ectolife is not a breakthrough idea. You've seen similar in movies and in video games and sci-fi books, but know that this has been happening for decades, somewhere underground in a lab. Technology and experimentation are like this. With patents and rivalries between countries and cultures, you're not going to hear about it until something is at a stage where they feel comfortable releasing the prototype or cemented the idea. That's why this particular hint at an artificial womb makes me roll my eyes a little. Seems like a rando wanting clicks on a video and for people to appreciate his filmmaking chops or maybe give him a job. Still, it's worth a thought to see where you stand on this idea, morally or ethically, because similar stuff is coming down the pipeline at breakneck speed. Ow. A streaming team I watched covered this idea.
I've just realised that you're an author and can't even say the word duck. What the fucking hell's up with that?